Hi everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Ina and today we will repot a Zygopetalum orchid. It's been a while since I showed you a Zygopetalum here. I believe one of my first videos was a Zygopetalum care tutorial. I link it down below. There I'll talk to you a little bit more about its care, culture, where it comes from, and I'll also show you my collection of Zygopetalum, and I have a zygote that blooms 3 times a year for me, and I show this one to you on that video as well. Usually I have very good luck with zygotes. They do well in my climate. I've never had massive issues with them, but this one is a different case because it's been suffering. You will see how it is. You can see that the pseudobulbs are dehydrated, they are wrinkled. You can see that I have leaf tip dieback all over the place, and it's a little bit wonky as well here on this pot. It's not looking great. This one is the type of zygote, the hybrid that produces green flowers. It's a really nice zygote, but it fell on the floor. My fault, it was an accident, and the whole mix came out of the pot, and I've never bothered to repot it. So it's getting dehydrated pretty quickly in here, and it's not liking it. It's been suffering. So what I will do today, I will remove this mix. As you can see, it's already coming out of the pot. I have to remove all of the moss that is in here, and I will repot it in sphagnum moss again. If you don't know, lots of Zygopetalums, they are terrestrial, semi-terrestrial, lithophytes, and I will treat this one as one of these. I usually pot my zygotes in... I have one that's in soil, doing super well, but all of the other ones are in moss. I usually don't have soil here with me in my flat, and I find soil more difficult to clean as well. For this reason, I will pot them in moss. I know that they do well with moss. They enjoy the humidity. They love the humidity around its roots. And for this reason, I'm not gonna do my usual mix of bark and moss. But more than that, if you wanna know a little bit more about zygotes, I will leave you the video that I recorded before, and we'll talk a little bit about this one specifically, how the roots are doing inside this pot, the reasons why it's so dehydrated, and also why I repot. I'll tell you the reason why I haven't rebloomed this zygote yet. So let's start. I will organize my table and I'm gonna see myself why I repot this big plant. A word of advice here, if that's your first Zygopetalum, I would have hydrogen peroxide 3% with me, as always, because when you have new orchids, they can have bushy snails on the roots. I won't spray it here because this is not a new orchid. Also, as I said, it fell from its pot, so it's going to be very easy to remove from the pot. And I know this doesn't have any pests. So the first thing that I'm doing here is, as always, removing the old mix. I think I added some bark on the mix here. My plant's not very happy, it's very dehydrated, so I need to come to the root system and remove everything. And see, my mix is drying out very fast. I'm not very happy about it as well. A few tips that I give you. The first one is Zygopetalum, they are wild orchids in the sense that their flowers, I love their flowers. I love the shape of their flowers. It's very nice, but they become massive plants over time, so I can see that most of these roots are completely dead. So if you don't have space for big orchids, I would avoid getting a zygote. But if you have space for it, yeah, definitely, they can be very cheap. You can find them locally. This one I found locally. Certain regions, I'm sure they will be more available. The only thing is they are big, massive plants. I have at the moment 3 Zygopetalums. I used to have 4. One was from my haul that I got many plants that were very sick. And it was alive, but started to become completely dark brown to black, and I think it has some sort of disease. I don't know. I'm not very careful, as you can see. If you have as a new orchid, if you want to do it slowly, you can, but I know that the roots here on this side, at least, I have lots of dead and completely dried roots. So that's why I'm not really worried about them. How I know? Because if I touch, you can see that they are papery and they are coming out very easily. So that's my first tip. And the second thing that I want to tell you as well, while I remove this massive ball of roots here and all of the mix in between, it's a lot. If you didn't realize, I didn't realize I had a massive root system, as you can see. It started to die out when it fell on the floor, and I wasn't worried about repotting it immediately, so the roots are starting to dry out and die. But it was very healthy, growing healthily on one of my shelvings, amazingly, where my other zygo is, and the other zygo is also a hybrid. The other one blooms like 3 times a year for me in that spot. This one never rebloomed for me. And why I think that happens, or that happened specifically with this zygo, because I don't think the light is strong enough for this one to bloom. So I think there are some variations depending on the parents. Some zygos probably, some parents probably with the region where they are, maybe on the canopy of the forest, and how they will hybridize. They are probably used to less light, or they can be induced to bloom, being exposed to not extremely high light, while other zygos, and I believe that probably most of them, looking at the foliage, they probably require lighting similar to oncidiums. So some oncidiums, they need some high and bright light, oncidiums and some intergenerics. And I believe that's the reason why this little monster here didn't rebloom for me, because the position wasn't ideal. Although it was pushing out roots and was growing well inside the mix, it could have been exposed to more light. But the problem is, I usually give the bright spot in my house for my cattleyas and vandas. That's the window here where I usually film. So most of my cattleyas that I could, or have one brassivola that's there, and I have lots of miniature that fits on the window still there as well. But these big plants, sometimes I don't know where to place them, because some of my artificial light, they are not enough for some of my orchids, so I don't have spots for them anymore. That's why I'm avoiding very big and large plants, because I will not be able to rebloom them, and I don't have a place where I can devote specifically for these plants. I'm keeping the ones that I have already, but yeah, I cannot acquire anymore, because honestly, I don't have a specific room for my plants. They are all over the place. So anyway, I will show you when I'm done, when I finish clean up this root system, because as you can see, it's a big bowl of roots. We are almost there. There are so many dead roots here that even when I water it, it has a little foul smell, or I don't know, some material in decomposition, material that were going away. So anyway, sorry, oh gosh, just dry live roots. So the roots are not being able to grow inside the pot, and even some of the live roots now are broken. And I do suspect most of the root system here are completely gone. So how you check for the root system of the zygo is very similar to anything that you do with your other orchids. You just check if the roots are papery, if development is coming out easily from the root system. If you have a small zygo, if you want to start with the old portion of your plant, like this one, the old portion is completely gone. I have here, like all of these here, it's an old portion as well, so I know that this is gone. So you can start like that, and from the back part of your orchid, and start tracking to see what is dead and what is alive. I suspect I had so many roots that were completely dead, and the way that they were drying out, and also because I showed you how dehydrated the pseudobulbs are, and the only reason for these pseudobulbs to be so dehydrated? It's because there is nothing hydrating them. So the root system is probably gone. I'm worried. I know that I should, but I found these plants to be very resilient and tough plants. You know, if it was an Allialar, for instance, or I have some Cattleyas as well. People say Cattleyas are tough, but they suffer a lot with root rot, and when they are completely rootless, for me it's more difficult to save a Cattleya than save a Zygo, for instance. I don't know. That's how it is, right? Although I love Cattleyas, I wish they were doing amazingly with me. And other orchids that are very difficult to save as well. As I said, Nelly Eilers, they are not the easiest ones. Some Miltoniopsis, from the moment they go down, for them to come back to life, it's very, very difficult as well. And I had experience even with some Dendrobiums. They were not the easiest creatures to save either, but that's not the case with Zygos. Zygos, they are resilient and tough plants. So I'll keep doing it. I'll keep selecting and cutting all the dead roots and dry portion of the roots, and I'll come back when I'm done. So here I have the 3 divisions and everything that's left from whatever I had inside my pots. I'm sure there are other things that are dead here, but I think that's enough. It's enough for now. What I have to do is to start repotting it. I will pot in a 15 centimeter pot. I have it here. It doesn't touch the bottom of this pot, so I will leave some sphagnum moss to touch the water that will be here on the base. I will use full moss, as I said before. I have here my moss. I use New Zealand. I'm gonna place it here. It's completely dry. I have to water my plants afterwards. I don't have a space to keep it moist. May have more. I need lots of moss for this repotting. I also have here my stick pesticide, and that's it. So what I will do is I will start potting it, placing moss here on the base. Also, I will use some strands of moss and try to leave them hanging from the bottom to touch the bottom of the outer pot. I will add one of these on the pot to avoid pests. And I will pot all the 3 divisions together. I thought this pot would be larger for this plant, but it's not. This plant is a massive plant, as I said before, so I am completely sure it will fill this pot in no time. I'm not worried at all. Like, oh, it's too large. It's not too large, guys. I have experience with Zygos. To be honest, I'm now thinking that's too small, but it is what it is. You have to be here now. I hope it can keep you for at least, let's be honest here, maybe 2 years. The other one that I have in soil, I think is there for like almost 3 years. It's time for me to repot that one. Sorry about the mess with the whole sphagnum moss. Yeah, that one I need to repot, but I am late with my repottings. I have so many plants to repot and I am late with all of them. Some of them are more urgent, so the urgent ones, I try to get to them first whenever I can. This one was an urgent one, as you can see. Yeah, I let it be for a very, very long time. Another thing that I will do, I will place some slow release fertilizer here. I know that these stick pesticide come with some fertilizer, but I don't find them to be enough for certain plants. And this one is a massive plant. So I do add some beads. Where is it? So I did add some beads. And just not to say that I'm using only moss, I will add a last layer of bark on the top, because it looks nice. But that's all actually. I love when I have a repotting that's just sphagnum moss. It's so much easier. I need to buy something for terrestrial plants. I run out substrate for them, and I had some problem with, I have some mold issues. Let's see if that is enough. So I had some mold issues and I need to sort them out. My fault. So there we go. Let me add the last layer of bark and we are done, and I will clean up and I will come back here. So guys, there it is, my monster fully repotted. I already filled this pot with water a little bit. I only have some water on the base. It will definitely struggle a little bit until it adapted to the new mix. And also there were so many roots that were completely dead, and I probably cut one or two alive roots, but it's already been completely dehydrated, so the pseudobulbs were already filling it. So I have new growths on the way, and also I have new roots and with root tips that start to grow. So as soon as these roots touch the mix, these will start hydrating the whole plant. On top of that, every time that I notice that my plant is almost dry, is approaching dryness, I will water it. I will not allow it to become completely dry in between watering, because I don't want to stress this plant even more. On top of that, with everything that I told you, another thing that I need to pay attention is I will place it in a bright spot, because I do want it to push flower spikes when it's completely recovered. It's not yet, so I'm not expecting to bloom anytime soon. But whenever it's completely hydrated, I hope it will push some flower spike. And maybe in a month's time, I will start fertilizing it. Not now, because it's still adapting to the whole new mix. More than that, zygos will require the same care as oncidiums and intergenerics, but I think they love humidity a little bit more, so they need more water. Remember that some of them are lithophyte or semi-terrestrial, so you need to offer them more humidity around the root systems, and they won't grow in air. So that's some of the difference, but I've already touched on the other video, and today was more about repotting and trying to recoup this massive plant. I hope you enjoy it. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel because it helps me a lot, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye!